Hello Porkies, this is day 64 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rank 2500. But before we jump into today's game, I need to make a giant announcement. Because of you guys, I've made to the YouTube partnership program and now you can become a member of my Forky Chess channel here. So I have four different levels of subscription. In the first one, you get loyalty badges, you get emojis, you get members only live chats, and of course I will be answering all your comments. In the second tier, named Forky Master, you get early access to some of my videos and you get member shoutouts. You also can get photos from my tournaments, you can get members only videos and members only live streams. And on the third tier, you get to play a few games with me every single week. I will organize a special tournament online, and you can become a member of my Discord server where I will be answering all of your questions. This is for the third tier, and in the fourth tier, there are all the perks I just mentioned, and of course, great thanks if you will be willing to support my channel in that way. So let's go back to the game. We have the game, we have the white pieces, so let's play pawn to e4. I hope the intro wasn't too long. And we get the Scandinavian defense. Let's take the pawn. Queen takes is the best move. There is also knight f6, which is played. Now d4 and knight takes. Also bishop g4, but knight takes pawn. Okay. What should I play? Probably knight f3 and maybe c4 later on. But c4 is always an idea. I'm expecting bishop g4, and after bishop c4, um, probably my arrows are so bad. Now bishop g4, probably you should play like e6 or c6 there. You shouldn't play knight f6 because I can sack my queen, but that won't happen. Yes, bishop f5. There is a move bishop c4, but it doesn't do anything. Maybe bishop d3, training of the bishops is nice. Also c4, and then knight c3. C4, like knight f6, knight c3. I mean, why not bishop e2, bishop e3, and castles? Yeah. So just c4. This is a very common position when knight f6 is played in the Scandinavian defense. I try to push c4 and d4, and then put my pieces around these two central pawns. And of course, this d pawn and the c pawn are the two best friends. That's the common chess rule. You play knight b4 here, which is... I get it. I get it. But I guess I can just play knight a3 and then like bishop d2 and you... I don't think you'd get that much. Knight b4. What can I do else? He's threatening to fork me, which is quite obvious. There is no bishop d3. So probably just knight a3, defending here. And then playing like bishop d2. Maybe queen b3 firstly. I mean, knight a3 is the only move, yeah? So let's make it a quick one. Defending the c2. e6 now, I would say, is the best move. And I'm always like threatening, maybe with some checks and then pushing here. That might be quite annoying. So after queen a4, you probably have to play like knight c6 or e6 right away. e6 is probably the best move here, by far. Probably the only move. There is of course like queen d7 or knight c6 as well, but no, knight c6, there is pawn d5, knight probably goes like to back to b8, and I play queen a4, winning the knight. So I'm expecting pawn to e6. It is probably the only move. Why? It is simply defending the knight on b4. That's the only idea. Also, yes, it's opening the diagonal for the bishop. But that's pretty much it, yeah. And again, after e6, I will probably play like queen b3, maybe queen a4 check. But after like knight, yes, e6 is played. Very good move by my opponent. There is of course knight h4, but it hangs a piece, so that's not good. Bishop e3 maybe, just develop naturally. Nothing special. Bishop e2 and castles. But c5 is on the way, yeah? So probably bishop e3 firstly. Knight c6, the pawn is defended. Bishop e2 castles, and then maybe h3 g4. And like queen a4 perhaps. This knight is pretty trapped when knight c6 will be played. So we'll just play bishop e3 here. There is nothing my opponent is threatening now. Yeah, bishop e2 castles, rook c1 for example, h3 g4, maybe here. We'll see what will happen. I think it is pretty active position for both of us, pretty dynamic as well. There was maybe a move c5 there, but c5 just knight c6 and maybe going here as well, not here, but my mouse is so bad, oh my goodness. So if I play c5, blocking the bishop, then probably knight just goes to d5 and everything is good there. There is some pressure on my pawn, but I am just defending. Probably your idea is to castle long, but I am opening up some files, so probably that's not too good. Just bishop e2 castles, yeah. Be solid, rook c1, coming probably, but it hangs a pawn though. Maybe queen b3 and rook c1 then, and if I can get my both rooks on d1 and on c1 trying to push my pawns, I think that's just good. Bishop e7, okay. Bishop e7, what can I do? Probably just castles. Knight b5 at some point, but firstly I need to castle. And now this is no longer a fork to the king and to the rook. But if I were to play like moves like knight b5, just knight c1, rook c1, and takes on e3, which is not that bad either. I'm opening up the f line, the f file, if you will. And I'm getting very easy development. Then knight c3 back, like bishop d2, trading bishop d3, trading of the bishops. Opening the f file is definitely something that is good for me. But we'll see. I'm not sure why my opponent is spending a lot of time here. I would say the move castles for black is just very solid idea here. I mean, there is also bishop f6, putting some pressure on the d4 pawn. But that's not really that big of an idea, is it? Bishop f6 here before castling looks pretty weird. And also you should probably play knight d7, not knight c6, because now c6 is impossible. I don't like the look of this knight on c6. It definitely should be on d7. Why? To bring this knight back, for example, and to push c6 as well. So bishop f6 is played, but you are not really threatening to take my pawn. It is defended 3 times and attacked also 3 times. And it also undefends this knight here. So I'm starting to think that d5 just wins on the spot. d5 should win on the spot, yeah? Take, just takes. Oh no, but then knight takes, yeah. So that doesn't work. Excuse me, d5 here, that just knight takes, yes, of course. What's wrong with me? But if d5 takes when knight moves, well, there is queen a4 check, yeah. That was the idea, but no, knight defends d5 as well. So that's not a move, d5, not yet. Not yet, but it might be soon. How to prepare d5 is a very nice question to be made. Queen a4, just bishop takes on d4, knight takes, probably just wins for me. Queen a4 threatening d5. Queen a4 allows knight d3 though. Probably queen b3, pressuring also d5 indirectly. And then something like a5. Queen a4 looks better. Why? Because I'm pinning here. And if queen a5 like a5, I just push. Knight takes. Bishop b5. Moves like queen d7 just work, yeah. The idea of queen a4 is that this pawn is not hanging here, because I simply take it. And the knight on b4 would be just lost. So queen a4 is my move. If castles... Yes, castles is played. But now I get to play rook d1. Which rook to put on d1 is a very, very good question. Very important question. I have a feeling that this rook belongs here and this rook belongs on c1. So let's do that. Rook d1. Threatening d5 for real. I think it threatens d5. Because knight takes, yes, it works for now, but you are pinned here. I play the move like queen b5 there. Knight e7, bishop c4 and c6 kind of works. Maybe I need to be quicker. Moves like rook e8 here, just d5. Pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5. Bishop c4, bam. Knight e7. Knight e7 is the problem. But I could just... No, I cannot take. I could play queen b3, c6 and then what? We'll see. We will analyze the game afterwards, of course, in the analysis part of the game. Rook d... I don't need to push the pawn, that's certainly something. I could just play like moves like rook d2, rook d1 and then d5. This knight is weird here, I must say. Also moves like h3, g4, knight e5 always works, because knight e5, bishop takes, pawn takes, I'm attacking the queen here, and then moves like bishop f4, defending here. Doesn't look too good, but it opens up some lines for my bishops here. But we'll see how the game will continue. Rook d1, I have a pretty easy moves to make. Rook c1 next, probably h3. I mean, bishop d2 cannot be just missed. Bishop d2, there is knight d3 though. But I just take and play like bishop f4, bishop back. I don't really need to take. If bishop d2 here, I could just play bishop e3 back, and then we repeat moves, which is not great. Yes, I mean, interesting position, I must say. I'm enjoying it so far. My queen is kind of stranded on a4. I mean, it has some pressure here. But it can get easily attacked. Bishop c2 is a move that must not be forgotten, because I mean it is defended by the knight so far. If I play like knight b5, oh, bishop c2, forking and just winning. That's too bad. A queen d7 walks into another pin, which is insane. Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you do this to... No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. There is no knight e7 because I take. What the hell? d5? Pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5. Oh, bishop e6 is an idea. But I play bishop c4, bishop e6, bishop e6, excuse me. Oh my goodness, this is so insane. Why would you walk into a pin? Maybe it works, but looks just bad. And unnecessary, definitely. d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5. Bishop e6, bishop c4, bishop e6 and queen b5. Rook d8. Kinda works. Maybe not just yet, yeah? Maybe rook c1 firstly. After rook d8. d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5 there. Pawn d5, knight d5. Let me calculate. This is insane. Pawn d5, knight d5, rook d5, queen d5, rook d1, queen e6, bishop c4. There's nothing. Knight e5 at some moment, but knight e5 defends the queen, so that's bad. d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5, bishop c4, bishop e6, queen b5, rook d8, rook d2, rook d8, then 97 then works, yeah. So that's bad. Just rook c1, I think. Just rook c1, and we'll see what will happen then. I couldn't make myself believe that d5 works. Probably it works, but I mean, playing d5, bluffing everything. Maybe. Rook d8 played pretty much instantly. Now d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight d5. Still doesn't work. So let's just continue playing normal moves. Like knight b5, now bishop c2, rook c2 works. And now also knight b5, knight c3 allows pawn d5 to be definitely a threat then. So with some pressure. Bishop c2, just rook c2. Knight takes here, just knight takes. No, even like this. I'm creating this weird X-ray here. But knight c3 is my next move. a6 just allows knight c3 to be played, so that's weird. Knight c3 and then d5 just works, yeah. So that's kind of bad. I think knight a6 is good. Knight a6 here, knight c3. But then I get to play like queen b3 and then d5 as well, opening up the c and the d file where my rooks are currently. And then knight d4, knight c3 just allows d5, so that's my idea. Knight b5 is a nice move, and now that c2 is defended, yeah. Now that c2 is defended, knight b5 and knight c3. There was also knight b1 and knight c3, but bishop takes was a move. Bishop takes was a move. I don't think it was great, but still. Knight b5 just allows knight c3 next move. Doesn't matter what my opponent does. Knight c3 is my next move. I mean, not necessarily. Knight takes on a3. Knight takes on a2. I simply take on a2 back. That's logical. But no, knight c3 is probably my next move, and I will play it pretty quickly. I will calculate a few things when my opponent makes a move. Like, for example, rook e8, knight c3. Probably you have to move your knight. So knight a6 there. d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight e5, queen here, knight takes, there is bishop takes as well, bishop g5, knight g5, I mean, queen a3, not really a move, knight c3, I'm not forced, when I play knight c3, I'm not forcing myself to play pawn d5. But it's just an idea my opponent needs to take care of. That means he will spend some time calculating all the major variations. Doesn't mean he will calculate them correctly. And also, d5 I think just wins the pawn on a6, yeah, because of my queen. So, for example, rook e8, knight c3, knight a6, d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, knight e7. Oh no, the queens are getting off the board. Oh, but I can play bishop b5, c6, and bishop a6 and just have a lot of pressure on this pawn as well, and on a7 with my bishop here as well, which should be just game over positionally. Of course, I'm also attacking a7, but rook a8 happens, so that's bad. But it's something my opponent needs to look after. Of course, he saw that a7 is hanging, and he spent like what is happening, and he saw rook a8, and he thinks, I mean, he spent 10 seconds on rook a8, so that's something as well. And he's down to 6 minutes and a half. I have 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And we're only at move 13, so yes, we'll see. I mean, you could potentially, after knight c3, you could potentially play bishop e7 back. And after d5, pawn d5, pawn d5, I'm just going to play a3, and then the same variation will happen. Probably. Although probably queens have to get off the board, and c file opens up, g7 is undefended if knight takes. You play queen e7. I mean, it has the same idea, but why would you defend it with the queen? Knight c3, knight takes. No, this just works. Yeah, knight here. Yes, I know how to count. No, knight c3, d5. And then like moves like a3. Knight a6 still wins a pawn, yeah? Knight c3. I spent 40 seconds on this move, which was just too long. And my opponent spent 4 minutes on queen e7 on a single move. He spent 4 minutes, which is a third of his time actually. Maybe 25% because the bonus time, but still queen e7 spending 4 minutes here. And I have a clear idea to push d5, to make some weaknesses on the queen side, and just to overwhelm my opponent. Also d5, he could just play 95. He doesn't need to take the pawn, which is probably the best move. With d5 knight here, probably just knight. I mean, am I forced to take? Probably no, but moves like a3, knight a6. Also a7 is here, b6 is no longer possible because of the knight. This just looks fine. I think I have pretty okay position. I'm not sure why my opponent spent 4 minutes on queen e7. Definitely he thought I will play knight e3, and now he's spending another like 2 minutes, which is quite insane. If you will spend 4 minutes in a rapid game on a single move, then you better know what your next move is. Because spending 5 minutes every single move, just transitioning, opening to the middle game is pretty bad. Now it's still, there is no bishop c2, of course. There is no knight d3, there is no knight c2, there is no knight a2. Your bishop on f6 is just a mistake, I would say. I mean, I'm threatening h3, g4, g5, trapping the bishop. Now that the queen is on e7, so queen e7 was probably just a mistake. And be careful, mistakes come in pair, usually. So, I mean, queen e7 probably was not the most accurate move. He was definitely struggling because he spent 4 minutes. Now h3, g4, g5 is just an idea, I would say. And this idea is pretty strong, actually. h3 looks like I'm just giving myself a loft. I'm spending some time, seeing what my opponent will do. And with 3 minutes on the clock, it is very easy to forget that g4 comes with a tempo. a5. This blunders a pawn. There is bishop c2, rook d2. I mean d5 firstly, and then it blunders a pawn, and also blunders bishop d5 is a threat there. This is weird. Should I start with d5 or should I play h3 firstly? Because h3 is such a subtle move. And if I play h3, probably my opponent will blunder. Which I think. Because h3, excuse me, bishop g6 is probably the only move, although there is h5 as well. But h3 forcing him to play bishop g6, whose position improved more? I would say mine. The bishop is the same on g6 or on f5, and I have a luft, so just play h3. I think this is a very nice move, actually. H3. Although maybe G4 doesn't blunder a piece because there is bishop C2 and then this happens. But that should be pretty much winning for me, technically. With knight b5, with b3. And yes, h3, g4 is just a threat. And I will also have the two bishops. Will he see that g4 is a threat? I'm not saying, yes, he's... Oh, there is h6 stopping g5, okay. I won't play g4. But h6 is also fine, so we both played h3, h6, okay. I forgot that he can play h6 and that this prevents g5, yes, okay. He sees it, though. Also, a3 is now a move. Knight a6, I mean. d5, you have to play here. No, just d5 firstly, definitely. Knight e5. I take here. Bishop c2, rook d2, nothing there. Knight c2 though. But no, knight c2 still there is bishop c5. d5, pawn d5, pawn d5. Knight d5 I just take. Pawn d5 here. No, pawn d5 here. I just take. And both knights are getting attacked. Pawn d5, pawn d5, pawn d5. Knight e5. Takes. Takes, takes. Takes, takes. Queen also defends the pawn, so this should be just fine. Yes, d5. I spent 1 minute and a half. This doesn't mean... Oh, he takes. Oh, he takes. Wow. But this is insane, isn't it? Now, 95. But this is insane. Why would you take? But no, this allows too many things, yes. No, I don't think this... Bishop c3 even. Oh, wait. If I take... Oh, I forgot about this. But actually just takes... I forgot that he can take and then take on d5. On c3, excuse me. But this looks like... Okay, I'm not sure my opponent calculated this correctly. Bishop c5 is coming if the bishop moves. Bishop e2 here. Queen e8 I take. You take me. You probably have to take... Probably you take with the queen, it doesn't quite matter. I take here. And also this is hanging. My pawn is on b7 suddenly. Here there is also check. Oh, there is check. Oh, but I take with the bishop. Takes. Takes. Bishop takes. Takes here. I still do this. Here. Still do this. You take. And then I take back here. And I don't take back when you take, but I take on b7. And just win, yeah? Maybe I'm missing something. Now it is level material. And your bishop is hanging. Bishop c5 is on the way. If rook d1, just bishop d1. But you take here. Bishop c5 just. Oh, bishop c5 hangs. Oh my goodness, bishop c2. Bishop c5 hangs. Bishop e2. But does this still... I still need to calculate this. Because there is still like... a lot of moves here. And I'm getting low on time, which is not good. But my rook is trapped also, eh? Bishop c5 hangs here, 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 just here. Okay. Bishop c2 loses for me. There is rook e1, queen e1, knight e1 loses. The other move is here. And then rook c5. I think this is the way to go. Here and then pick up here with bishop c5 still probably. No, right. It works, huh? And then maybe I still take here and then take here. This is a nice resource, but I don't know how I managed to blunder bishop c5 doesn't work because queen takes on e2. I forgot that my bishop is hanging. Aye. Bad calculation. But still, it's not that bad. Queen a5 coming. This knight is attacked. If it goes to a6, I just take it. And then just take here. My pawn is very advanced. But these two bishops are much better than mine. I mean, look at the diagonals they are covering here. Every single thing is covered by the bishops here. And my bishops, I mean, yes, they are okay, but nothing special. I don't think he saw the move rook c5 when he was calculating. Bishop is 6. Bishop is 6. I just take here, you take here probably. Still take here and play rook a8. It's quite forcing. You play bishop e4, which is a move I of course missed once again. Just takes here probably. Bishop takes. But I don't think that's too good because b7 is weak and then I have this fork. Oh, but then there is queen, bishop c6 though. I probably have to play like moves like these. I'll just take here, yeah? Oh, I need to play faster. Spending 30 seconds on cb7. Knight a6, rook a5 just. Maybe rook b5 also. Bishop c6. I need to be careful that rook b5 runs into the... Oh, but I make a queen. If the pawn is still there. I make a queen and then... I mean... Then I'm fine. If knight a6 though, I cannot make rook b5 and then I make a queen and knight takes just, yeah? It's bad. Okay, that won't happen. Bishop takes, yes. Rook a5 or queen a5. Queen a5 threatens the knight. Maybe. Knight c6 though. I go here with triple fork. Queen a5 just. Knight d3, bishop d3, rook d3, and queen b5 with I don't know how many forks. This is threatened. This is also... Oh, this is also a threat. Oh my goodness, I forgot about this one. I think I'm just winning here. Maybe I'm just completely missing the evaluation of this, but... Bishop takes an f3, bishop takes an f3. Where do your knight goes? Knight d3 there, I mean rook c7. With queen a7. You go here. Defending here. Also pressuring here. Reasonable. How to get the max out of this? Here. Here. But that's bad for me, come on. That's very bad for me. No, this is just bad. Moves like queen need to work. Takes. Queen d2 looks weird, but I think it works. I think this is very weird move, but I think it works. I'm not sure what will be the resulting end game, but it looks very weird. Knight e3, queen e3, queen e3, f e3. And there I have no idea what's happening. I'm threatening rook b5, that's certain. No, but bishop takes on f3 though. We'll see how my endgame knowledge is. Bishop a3, wow. That's a move I wasn't really expecting to see on the board. Rook b5 I think works. c6, rook b3 though. Oh, I think bishop a6 at the end. Rook a5 takes. I don't know. I mean, there are worse things than being down something in the end game. This queen takes only move. Why did I spend 6 seconds on this move? Bishop a6 here, it's rook a5, fortunately. That was something I was looking at. And now the bishop is of course hanging. Bishop takes. And we get a pretty drawish endgame. That I think I am able to hold. Maybe I'm just completely off, and maybe I'm just losing there. Also, this king is not very safe. Bishop a6 here takes. My rook is active. This is pretty insane endgame. I think there was something better for both of us. But yes, the material is the same. My pawn is bad here. And also this is pretty big weakness, yeah. Rook b3 is also a move. But the rook a5 is much more forcing, yeah. Yes. I think. Rook a5. Rook a3. Bishop f3 is just a draw. Probably. Although I would play with that for a win, definitely. Why not? Rook d2, rook c3, rook a2, rook c7. Okay. He's playing for a win. Which is nice. Rook c3 here, just knight here. No, knight here. I mean, just rook c3, yeah. Rook c8. King f2, then takes. Pawn takes probably better. The rook endgame is always a draw, so this doesn't matter. And I have my own passed pawn here on the a2 square for now. King f2, bishop d3. I played then knight f5, probably just fine. Knight f5. Here, probably the best move. Knight here. And then I think I'm better. I think I will be able to win a pawn there. Oh, but he pins me, eh? He pins me with rook c8. But he goes for this anyway. Now I also think I'm better. But yes, this is just drawish, yeah. Yes, now I'm not better. I will offer a draw in a few seconds. I have more active rook, but it doesn't quite matter. E3, king f4, accept the draw. Yes, I do accept the draw. I think it was a well-fought game. Let's game review the game. We'll see. We'll see. I think it was pretty nice game, actually. Pretty nice game, I would say. Pretty nice game. Yes, I played with 82% accuracy. My opponent played with 83. Let's analyze the game now. So, I played pawn e4. And pawn d5 was played as Scandinavian defense takes, knight f6, and I played d4. Knight takes, knight f3, bishop f5. And here bishop d3 is the best move. Apparently by the computer. What's have been played? Bishop d3 is usually played by grandmasters. Okay. I played a move c4, which is a mistake. Because of knight b4. Knight e3, only move. I thought this is just fine for me. Now e5 better than e6, okay. Bishop e3, knight 8, c6. I don't think this is a very good move actually. The computer thinks it's fine, but I mean, just bishop e7 castles and like c6 and knight e7, because you're trying to get me weakened this d4 pawn. And at least bishop e7, this bishop will go to e7. This knight maybe goes here, maybe to a6. So stay flexible. But okay, he played the move knight 8 c6 actually. Bishop e2, bishop e7, I think, yes. Castles, and now I was expecting the move castles. My opponent played bishop f6 with some pressure to him. That's just weird. Queen b3 best move, queen a4 second best move, which is already a mistake. Why is queen b3 better than queen a4? Isn't this just... Oh, it is supporting d5. Then this knight is not pinned, eh? Castles, what about d5 now? No, rook d1 firstly, yes. And now queen e7 defending the knight. If you play the move like rook 8, you just lose by d5. Takes, knight e7 and takes here. Pretty elementary. I played queen a4 pinning here. I thought this was better, I'm not sure why. Castles, rook fd1 was the best move. Queen d7 was an inaccuracy. Rook c1 also a mistake. Oh wait, rook c1 hangs a2. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Queen b3 now best move, supporting d5 once again. I'm also defending a3 and prepare a2 and preparing rook c1. Rook d2, rook d1 also an idea here. I played rook ac1. Hanging k2. I didn't see this move whatsoever. Neither is my opponent. He played rook a d8. Which is of course a miss, because I mean... And now this allows the move knight b5, which is actually a very good move. Preparing knight c3, defending k2 and preparing d5, winning the knight here. I am +1 already. Queen e7, knight c3, and this was just fine. Also queen e7, my opponent spent 4 minutes on queen e7, and it's not even near the best move. Knight c3 and a5, defending the knight here. Even more. Now a3 was the best move. I was thinking about a3, but first I played h3. Oh, e5 is there, but okay, my opponent played h6, which was something I was calculating, and now a3 wins. Why? Knight a6? Queen b5 going here? This is the idea. And this is just winning. And preparing d5. Okay, I played d5 instantly. Which is equal. e5, 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 cd5, excuse me, and bishop takes on c3 only move. D takes on c6 was the only move once again. Bishop takes on b2 only move once again. And rook c5, no, I took on d8 and rook c5 now. This is just equal. Bishop e4, no, cb7, yes, was the only move once again. Bishop takes b7, yes. Queen a5, Okay, knight d5 only move. Queen d2 is a blunder because of bishop a3. Oh my goodness. And bishop a3 was played. I played the move rook b5. Knight f4. Knight f4 wins. Why? Knight f4 wins because of pressure. Knight d4. I guess just c5, yeah. Rook d4 even. Bishop here loses here. What about here loses due to this fork? Okay. He took on e3. Fortunately, I took, he took, I took. This is just equal. Bishop a6, rook a5 only move probably. No, there was also rook b3. But if you play anything else, you just lose. Because you cannot play rook b2 because bishop takes here. Which is just an exchange down, but you lose anyway. So rook a5, good move. Bishop takes, rook takes. c5, rook c3. Here, king f2. Bishop d3, I was thinking about playing knight f5, and I thought my position is very nice. Rook b8. No, wait. Rook b8, not rook c8. Rook b8. I cannot take here because rook c8, but here cd, rook d3, and rook b2 just. But okay, bishop takes on f3, pawn takes. Maybe king takes was okay as well, but I mean, doesn't quite matter. And this was just an equal position where we agreed to a draw. So if you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. And if you like the video, please consider subscribing. It will really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.